I trust everyone is doing wonderful. Oh, it's snowing. So today on the live, I am looking to discuss the differences between high school education and or high school in Canada and a direct university enrollment. So I'm going to just reference my documents which I prepared recently, and or if you're looking to get access to that document, you can check the Linktree link in the description and you can have access to it. It's a free PDF copy, which I believe would be helpful. And also, if you are looking to study abroad, I have a free ebook as well that is accessible. You can just download it and then you can have access to the documents. So it's talking about mistakes that students should avoid when they are applying to school, or if anything that they have to avoid, any mistake that they have to avoid when they are applying to school. Give me a second. Let me just grab my document that I would like to be speaking from. If you're new here, my name is Lydia and I am also an education consultant. I am based here in Canada, and what I do is I assist students to study globally. I work with WURI Education and Immigration. I think I scheduled a live earlier, which I want to re-edit so people don't click on that link mistakenly. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So today we'll be discussing. Oh, hang on, guys. Sorry. We'll be talking about high school education and direct. There's something not working properly for me. And direct university. Basically, most students back home in Africa always want to come to study abroad, but they're looking at completing their high school and then coming to university directly, which is great, right? But then again, based on my experience with students who finish high school and coming directly into university, they kind of struggle within the first 2 years. If you just joined, welcome to the live. You can double tap and like this video, and you can also subscribe to the channel. My name is Lydia and I'm basically discussing or sharing based on experience what is working for students who are looking to study abroad as well. If you have transited from high school into university, you can share with me in the chat because I really want to hear your experience with that specifically. Hello, don't talk too much. How are you? You can double tap on the live to like this video. Hi, Truvon. How are you today? Great, great, great. So we are incorporating what's working, right? Yes. So I was sharing that most students from back home after high school just want to go directly into university abroad, right? Which sometimes becomes a struggle because parents don't really understand what it takes to study abroad. They don't get the right information, and most of the things that they hear or do are things they've heard on the internet, and it's more of like a try and error thing because it's different from if you just went on TikTok, for instance, which is like the most popular one where anybody at all can just put a camera and sharing ideas, right? People will just put things on TikTok for maybe clickbait and all of that. Oh, there's a scholarship here in the school, there's that, but they do not really break down everything that is needed to be understood. So that is where mostly the challenge is. And for parents who really do not want to get professional advice, that's also a challenge because I don't know, but people aren't willing to pay for expert advice. That's one of the things that I have noticed over the years, right? People want an easy way out, but this is your child's, future we're talking about. And for us at Worry, I mean, it's not even about worry education, but I just want to create that awareness for parents who are looking to having their children, pathway into universities, especially for students who want to go into health related programs. And just because people say, oh, PSW is a very good program because when you finish, you're going to get a job and all of that, it doesn't really set your future, your children up for success, to be very honest. Because if you look at how PSW is, and if you look at someone who wants to do like a Bachelor of Medical or Biomedical Sciences, these two people are totally different experiences. And someone who has just completed high school may not be a best fit for PSW. PSW has to do with which is a short form for personal support worker, right? That is basically someone who is already in the health stream. So maybe someone is a registered nurse back home or midwife back home. Those kind of people already cater or nurture for sick people or people with the old age or in the home care. So someone like that just needs a professional backing of, say, a PSW program to be able to specialize in this profession. But someone from high school does not really have the knowledge basically in like a Bachelor of Nursing back home or midwifery. So it's always a struggle, and that's why I always would educate parents to seek expert advice so that because there are multiple facets to this whole education or study abroad thing, what can work for student A will not work for student B. Because even in consulting for clients, I've realized that every client needs a specific thing. Like their pain points are different from another pain point. For some clients, their challenges have to do with choosing the right program because at that high school level, the kids do not really know what they want to do in university, which is okay, right? And some parents also have this attitude, or they are used to having their children do a particular program just because they want their children to enroll in those programs. But they do not really take time to understand what the child is passionate about, right? And so they want them to just enroll in that program. And the other parents who their pain points for sure is maybe financial resources, right? And then there are also another parents whose pain points are their children aren't really mature to be able to study abroad, right? So hello, Vlight. Hi, John. Welcome to the live stream. We are discussing high school education and direct university application, and I'm just starting out talking about some of the incidences or conditions that parents always look out for. You can double tap by liking the stream. Thank you for joining. And if you have experienced high school and pathway into university, you can share your experience with me as well in the chat. So yes, I've been sharing the various, facets to all these education things, and the fact that parents have different pain points to having their child study abroad. So, Vlad, you said you're in primary school. Oh wow, then you're very young. So why are you here? Okay. All right, Vlad. So yeah, I get it that the pain points may be totally different, right? So that's why it's important to seek expert advice when you are sort of like as if you want to have your children study abroad, seek some advice so that they can help out with a strategy that works perfectly for your ward, and they can be successful on their education journeys. Johnny, well, yeah, a few stories from maybe some of my consultations with clients. So yeah, as an education consultant as well, I understand that the concerns for your child's future to is basically to create an educational path that is very significant to their future goals, their future careers, and all of that. And basically, I just want to shed some light on how the Canadian high schools and pre-university opportunities would look like. Thank you for sharing the video, guys. Thank you, Vaughn. Um, so you can double tap by liking. We are discussing the global advantage, basically, whether high school education high school education and direct university, which one really works perfectly. So in the Canadian high schools, so someone would ask, oh, it's snowing. Why Canadian high schools? And I'm going to just touch on the three major reasons why I believe that Canadian high schools will be very, helpful. No, John, I'm not in high school. I am an education consultant. All right. So, number one is that Canadian high schools offer seamless transition into universities. And that's without a doubt. So, most Canadian high schools here would offer robust academic programs, right? Which perfectly would prepare your students for success in top universities worldwide. The great thing about Canadian high schools is that whether you want to study in Canada, in a university, in the US, in Europe, in China, in any other part of the world, you can enroll in high school and go into any global university. The benefit is also that Canadian high school give you comprehensive guidance and counseling, and it's a major resource tailored for your university application. So, assuming that you're a student who wants to do biomedical sciences in the university, what's going to happen in a Canadian high school is that, especially in the university preparation year, which is year 12, the students are able to take credits towards biomedical sciences. So, some credits like chemistry, physics, biology, calculus, which is also a prerequisite for biomedical sciences, for instance, in most Canadian universities. Hello, John. Hello, Unreal Japan. So I'm talking about high school education and direct university, which one works perfectly for your child. And I am discussing all the various facets to it, okay? All right, sure. We'll be here. Sorry. So that's a great thing about seamless university transition. Basically, when our studies back home, especially for WASI, parents and students only take biology, chemistry, physics, right? And then maybe elective maths and English. All right. And these credits do not really make up for the credits that are needed for university. So for most universities, what would happen is if you have Yvonne, come on, no. If you have these 5 credits, for instance, which is chemistry, physics, biology, e-math, and English, this is assuming that you didn't attend international schools, because some international schools will have the calculus and other prerequisites credits. So assuming that you attended a high school and it's WASI, that's WASI High School, yeah. You would come into university and they would take you into a program which is pre-university within the university campus, right? Especially if you want to do a competitive program like engineering or health sciences, right? You will need to take some credit leading towards getting into level 100. Okay, so they might put you into year 1, which is technically not level 100, but your first year will be to take some great English credits, some credits like sciences or a vector. It could be any of those credits that are needed for your level 100, maybe BSN or engineering, B engineering programs, that's Bachelor of Engineering programs. So it's very important that even if you have finished high school back home, you are able to come into high school in Canada for an easy and seamless way to pathway into Canadian universities. That is excellent, right? And we've seen it over the years, and this is proven by data that over 80% of students who pathway in Canadian universities going into um, level 100 of universities actually do better than students who come direct into university enrollment. I hope you get that point for seamless university transitions. Now, another reason why Canadian high schools are important is because of the cultural fluency and global perspective. Now, let me break that down. Cultural fluency basically is saying that we do understand that Canada is sort of a bilingual state, which is English and French. Now, there are most students who come into Canada who speak non-English, who are non-English speakers. So students from Latin America, from Asia, from Turkey, anywhere in the world that are non-English speaking countries. There are so many of them, even in Southern Africa, right? Sorry, Northern Africa. Hello, Olivia, how are you? Yeah. So and francophone Africa as well, right? So those are non-English speaking countries within Africa and the world. Now, most parents will like their children to come through high school so that they are able to build on their English skills. You know that Canada is a multicultural society or country, and so people are able to immerse with language, and so they are actually English ESL schools as well within Canada, which is English as a second language. So this is not only for Africa students because there are students who also come in to study ESL in order to be fluent in their English vocabulary and English language. So most parents would like to for their children to have a diverse and welcoming multicultural environment like Canada because it will help them to develop invaluable intercultural skills and a global mindset, which is very essential. Now, very essential is tautology, which is essential for future leaders. You know, if you want to see or if you foresee your child being a future leader, serving in the UN or in interdisciplinary roles, then it is great for them to build a global mindset in the early stages. We're talking about 15 to like 21 years. Those are very, very strong stages of your child's life, or even 13, because we see kids or children playing advocacy roles at 15, 16, and that's brilliant, right? So think about it. They started at a very early age. We have parents who bring their children at middle school. Middle school is about what, 7 to 9 years, right? Before teenagers. So that's also great if you start out early with your children in order to immerse in the English language and also in the global mindsets because it's essential for future leaders. It's important to start off early. Very important. Then the final reason why I would say you choose Canada for high school is because it is safe and it's a supportive environment. If you just joined, you can double tap on the live to like this video. And we are discussing why high school education in Canada versus direct university, which could be best for your wards. Okay. So, yes, Canada is renowned for its safety and high quality of life. You know, most people like to come to Canada because of the quality of life. I've personally seen the difference between quality of life. I felt like at some point it was just a cliche for people to say, oh, I want to travel abroad because of the quality of life, right? And a lot of people used to say it, and it sort of like became a cliche. But until you have really experienced the safety and the quality of life, you would really see the difference it is from back home. You know, I'll just throw some light on what quality of life has personally done for me. For instance, you're looking at the response time for emergency services, right? And the fact that you have the basic amenities flowing 24/7, right? I honestly do not remember the last time we didn't have water flowing in our taps or we didn't have lights like electricity. So that's what I mean by quality of life. And the fact that the systems work here, be it the transit system, be it healthcare, be it, you know, food system, be it delivery systems, everything really works here because people have expectations for the system, right? So even if there's going to be a downtime or anything, they are always communicating ahead of that downtime, right? So for sure, yes, Canada is safe and has a high quality of life. And so your child is going to really thrive in a secure and supportive environment with access to excellent healthcare, excellent resources, of course, excellent education, like I said earlier in the beginning. So, if someone should ask me why Canadian high schools, these are like the top three reasons that I've explained earlier. Number one, for seamless university transitions. Number two, for cultural fluency and global perspective. And then number three is because Canada is safe and gives a supportive environment. So, if you don't remember anything at all, these three reasons are why Canadian high schools. I'm going to also talk about understanding the Canadian high school system because it's important that you know, as it offers variety of options which will suit different needs and preferences. I did start out by saying that as a parent, it is important to understand what the real need of your ward is. Is it funding? Is it not knowing the right school program to offer in university? Is it faith based? We have some parents who are Catholics who are or who have other religious who have other religions and would want their wards to be more acquainted with such schools. So it's important to also understand the Canadian high school system. I'm going to start off with the public schools. So generally, public schools are schools that are funded by the government. All right. So these schools are funded by the government. Any public school you hear of, whether it's high school, whether it's what do you call it? College, university, public schools are funded by the government. Period. That's it. And for high school specifically, um, public schools also offer a comprehensive curriculum and a diverse students population. Let me just give you like an overview of what public schools will look like. So high schools would look like. So high school basically is from grade 9 to grade 12. So that's a 4-year system. Now within these 4 years, you have to take 30 credits of 30 credits, which is like 30 subjects. Out of the 30 credits, 18 of them are compulsory and 12 of them are involuntary. So 18 are electives, right? And for 12, you can pick and choose. It could include like French or there are a few of them, but that's the way it looks like. And then you have to pick your electives. Your electives are totally going to be contributing to your university education, which is your 4-year university education. So that's the way the high school system looks like. So back to the Canadian high school system. If you just joined, you can double tap to like this video. For private schools, unlike public schools, which are funded by the government. Private schools are independent institutions with smaller class sizes. All right. So you may have a public school looking at about 40 students in a class. A private school would have half of that, like 20 or 15 students in a class. So the student to teacher ratios are very small. That's the difference. Now, for private schools as well, they have specialized programs. I'm going to spend a lot of time on the public schools. For public schools, they have specialized programs. So, aside the regular curriculum for a year 9, that's grade 9 to grade 12, there are other specialized programs which could include leadership programs, which could also include soccer or football or sports programs. All right. Private schools have some sports programs which are specifically curated for students who are more athletic, right? So, yes, it's important that you study, but your activities and your curricula, that's plural for curriculum, curricula would be geared towards focusing on your skills and your talents in athletics. So it could be in soccer, it could be in hockey, it could be swimming, it could be athletics, or um, soccer academy. Yeah. So some private high schools have soccer academy, which would help with children who are more athletic or sporty in that sense, okay? And also for private schools, that's private high schools, they offer specific academic areas. They focus on specific academic areas. So let's say you're looking to study in university and they would break you out into streams. What we mean by streams are we could have art stream. These are for people in the arts, visuals, and all of that. We could have people in the science or math streams. These are for people who are well inclined in the math and sciences. We could have others who are in the STEM stream. These are for students who are more inclined towards robotics, more experimental, STEM related, kids. We also would have sports stream, like I said earlier, which are more inclined towards the students who are more into the academy or sporting or athletic jurisdiction. So that is the way it works for private high schools. Now, the next Canadian high school system is boarding schools. Now, the boarding schools give a different experience. The boarding schools give a more residential experience. Unlike the public schools and the private schools. Now, for public schools, they really provide residence or accommodation for students. They rarely, but when you need it, they will provide that for you. However, private schools also give residence and or accommodation. For most private schools, they do not have, for most of them, not all, for most of them, they do not have the residences on campus. So what I mean is, let's say your campus where you're going to be studying, your classrooms are here. Your accommodation or residence could be about just a 5 minutes drive or a 5 minutes walk from the school, all right, which is outside of the school premises. Now, for boarding schools are totally different. Boarding schools literally run like a university style. Boarding schools have the residences within the campus, within the classroom sections. So you can have your classroom here and your residence could be like a 2 minutes walk, right? Within the whole campus. That is how boarding schools work. And obviously, boarding schools are much more expensive. The budgeting could be like 80,000 per year or 100,000 per year, unlike the public or private schools that could cost you about 30 to 40,000 per year. So you see the difference? Yes. And also for boarding schools, they provide structured learnings, very structured. You know how everything is well structured, there's no like they so most of the boarding school, I feel like it's very prim and proper because your life on boarding school are very structured, and I feel like the those are for great future leaders who are looking to like excel, like it's very structured. And they also offer extracurricular activities like sports and all of that, using playing volleyball, playing hockey, swimming, and all of that. All of the schools actually provide extracurricular activities. So yeah. Now the last Canadian high school system I'll talk of is Catholic schools. Now, just like the name sounds, they are Catholic high schools which serve purposefully to faith-based teachings within into the curriculum. So we know that Catholic is a strong denomination, and so these are open to parents whose no children whose parents are Catholics. It could be one parent or both parents. You can enroll your child in a Catholic school if you are a Catholic, or both of you and your spouse are Catholics. I hope you understand. So for Catholic high schools, they are really integrated within faith-based curriculum to help your child succeed. So they have all the other things with looking at extracurricular activities, getting a comprehensive curriculum and all of that. The only difference is they would integrate faith-based teachings within the curriculum, basically to grow your children within the Catholic system. Okay. Now, so that is basically the next subtopic we've discussed about understanding the Canadian high school system. That is, the Canadian high school system offers public schools, private schools, boarding schools, and Catholic schools. So that is the various schools that you can enroll your children in order to succeed in, you know, in enrolling them. Now, one of the things I've come to understand are that parents are scared or afraid of having their child go to high school all by themselves in another country. But I've always said that, is it your fear that you're looking at, or the regret of not having your children experience or get a global experience and great education? So, one of the fears that I have identified is the safety concerns. And that's why it's important that whenever parents come to consult with me, I always would break things down and let them understand or give them a structure of what it looks like if your child is going to be studying in high school, what time they are being picked up from the home or the residence, what time class starts, what time class ends, what time they are picking them up back to the house or residence. So I always would give a parent a pictorial view or some document that highlights all those things. So for safety concerns, Canada is one of the safest countries in the world. I mentioned that earlier, with strict regulations and a welcoming society, and schools prioritize student safety and well-being. That is very important. Schools really prioritize the well-being of a parent of a child. Most schools inculcate um the service where if a child is late or has not arrived to school at a particular time, the parent is contacted, all right, or the custodian is contacted to find out why the child isn't in school at this time. So there's always some checks and balances around that. Okay. Now, for cultural adjustment, that's also a huge fear factor for parents, because let's say from back home, because of how we were trained and brought up, and parents fear that their children are going to lose their culture within themselves. But Canadian schools offer comprehensive support programs to help international students adapt to the new environment and culture. One thing I really do appreciate about Canadian or the Canadian school system is they welcome every culture, irrespective of which part of the world you are. You are encouraged to still bring your original self into school. They would hold cultural programs or traditional programs to highlight where you are coming from. And so there's a community for every kind of culture. For instance, you would have African community, right? You would have the Japanese community, you would have the Chinese community, you have the Filipino community, Korean. So every community is well represented and respected for it. So I always tell parents that don't worry about your child losing their culture back home just because they came into Canada, but Canada would ensure that they still maintain, sorry, they still maintain that culture and adjust to what the way they are studying. The last reason of the fears that I want to mention is academic success. You know, parents think that just because they are not present means that their children are not going to study, their children are going to be laid back and not steady. But one thing I've noticed is that Canada teachers will not even let you like fail, you know. Even if you want to fail, you're not taking your assignments, you're not coming into class, they'll always ask what's going on. Do you need help with this course? Do you need help with this subject, whatever? So Canadian high school provide personalized attention and resources to ensure that students thrive academically and achieve their full potential. That is one major thing that I really do appreciate. Hello, Bicycle. You can double tap on the stream to like this video. You can also share. The replay will be available for anybody looking to watch this video again. That's one thing I really do appreciate about the Canadian personalized attention and ensuring that students really thrive and achieve their full potential. If a parent or a teacher, sorry, identifies that you really have good potential in maybe sporting activities, or you really have good potential in science or a particular program or a particular course, they are really going to push you to ensure that you have the necessary support to be able to succeed in that sense. So that has been really, really, really important, as parents would want to see their children succeed globally. So now, to the elephant in the room. Why do you want to use Wuri? So let me just explain how Wuri Africa would assist a student or parents or families to ensure that their journey is smooth at every stage or every point in time. The initial consultation, this is not even paying or anything, but the first point of call where we meet you up is that we are trying to assess your child's needs and goals. I started this live saying that every child's needs are different, right? And so we as consultants will ensure to give you a really good strategy that would work for your child specifically. So, in the first consultation or initial consultation, we always try to assess the needs and the goals of the parents and the child. It's more of like curiosity for me. I want to understand why that? Why that? Why do you want this? Why do you want that? You know? Hi, Ivy. Welcome, welcome. You can double tap on the live to like this video and you can share as well. So that's the first point, initial consultation, where we assess the needs of the child and the parents' goals, okay? Number two, we look at school selection. We identify the suitable Canadian high school. Earlier, I explained the various high school systems where we have public high schools, we have private high schools, we have boarding high schools, and we have Catholic schools. So, depending on the needs of the child, these four would cover up for it. And we can really give the child the best school, the best, kind of system that would work for them. Now, coming to the application support, we assist families through the application preparation and submission. We do all the paperwork for you. You don't have to do anything. We do all the paperwork and we share updates in the spirit of transparency, right? So we ensure that you clearly understand and you're following through with the various processes as well. Now, visa assistance. Visa assistance is one of the major factors that can make or break your study abroad journey. Visa. I can have a whole live on visa. Now, for visa, we guide you through the visa processes. We'll always recommend an immigration consultant or RCIC to assist you with your visa application, or you can apply for your visa by yourself. Hello, Nora. So, visa assistance is also one of the ways that we would assist students to succeed on their study abroad journey. Then we also have ongoing support. Ongoing support typically says our assistance doesn't end when you get the offer, when you get your visa, and that's it. We even assist you to book your flights. We assist you with picking you up at the airport, you know, we assist you with all of that, picking you up at the airport, allowing you, checking up on you day in, day out to be sure that you are doing okay. So, ongoing support, we give you that continuous support, the guidance for your child all throughout the academic journey. We've seen children who have come through high school and they have gone to university and they are thriving. And so for us, that is true success for us, right? So it's been great that I have been sharing. It's 42 minutes already. Wow. I've been sharing or helping parents to decide whether high school education is better than university education, right? So if you're looking to study in high school in Canada or university in Canada, I'm happy to assist you no matter where you are in the world, okay? Now, if you need access to the guide that I'm referring from, you can check out the description of this video in my link tree. It's called the Global Advantage, and you can use it. Basically, what I've done in that document is to enlighten you and share the overview of the benefits of Canadian high schools, the structure of Canadian education systems, and then the roadmap that parents would need should they be willing to navigate this process. And I have addressed these concerns. I have also highlighted the advantages of planning ahead of time. I've always encouraged parents to plan way ahead of time because a studying abroad process is not something you just start off today and come in the next day. You really need to have a strategy, a plan that would help you succeed on your study abroad journey. And for us, we aim to empower you to make the best investments for your child's future. And so remember that starting early will give you significant advantage in securing your global success. Maybe in the next live, I will talk about some mistakes that students make when applying to schools. But today, the focus has been on high school and direct university application. Sure, by Seco. I hope you subscribe to the channel and I hope to see you again on the live stream. Thank you so much. Yeah. So if you want a copy of the guide, just check the Linktree link in my description. It's accessible to you and you can have access to it. You can share this video to anybody who is looking to have their children enroll in high school here in Canada or who is looking to enroll in university here in Canada. I'm happy to assist anybody, no matter where you are in the world. I am going to assist you all through and through. I don't know if I'm going to come on live again today, but I really hope that. Hello, John. Welcome. My name is Lydia, and I am an education consultant. Since I am in the spirit of growing my channel to hit 10K likes, I'll be sharing some ideas and content that can really be beneficial to parents or individuals who are looking to study abroad. All right. Thank you so much for joining today's live. Leave a comment of any topic that you want to ask me, any question that you want me to discuss in the next video, and I will be happy to discuss it in the next video. Please do well to like by liking this video and subscribing so that you will not miss any live stream. Thank you, Nora. You're welcome. Thank you, John, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining the live today. And I hope to come your way again tomorrow. Keep being awesome. Bye bye now.